Aw. Somebody's unaware of how this show actually works.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bill and Ammon's Bogus Hangout. We've got a good-sized crowd already today, which is good to see. We're going to say hello to everybody and give them a chance to introduce themselves and tell us what they're up to for next week or so. Tim, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm Tim Calling. I have a small web design and SEO agency. Specialize a lot in the healthcare field. And what I'm working on that's new and exciting is an online learning site for a client that does state licensed recertification of assisted living administrators. So I'm learning all about LMSs and implementing them and pick one out now. Very interesting. And also trying out the Astra theme and the Elementor page builder as part of that, perhaps part of that project.
Sounds like fun. Terry, could you introduce yourself and tell us what you're up to?
I'm Terry Van Horn. I try and do web development and SEO. Been doing it for a few years. What have I been doing lately? Well, lots of work, but I don't get anything done, so.
I have weeks, some days like that. Yeah. So
a lot of that going around.
Yeah.
Steve, introduce yourself. Tell us what you're up to.
Steve Grinzer, and just trying to get back into the workflow. I've spent last 2 months making multiple trips back and forth to Indiana and a little bit of medical stuff earlier this month, and it's actually like my first full week in like 3 months that I'm actually planning on working every day.
Wow.
So that's kind of cool. It's actually a little scary. I kind of got used to the old schedule. It's like, this everyday thing kind of sucks.
Fabrizio, introduce yourself and tell us what you're up to.
Hello, hi. Not much actually yet. Yesterday we had we hosted here in our office the Search London meetup, so I've been quite busy with that. So this week work hasn't been going that well yet, but I'm catching up with all things. A bit of hiring, a bit of plans, some fire stuff that breaks, but yeah, it's good. Hopefully we'll get productive.
Sounds like fun. Doc, introduce yourself and tell us what you're up to.
Doc Sheldon here. I've been spending this last week trying to rebuild my system, getting all my
still.
Still I got a lot of files that I'm having to transfer, and still trying to salvage some that got corrupted. And just trying to do that and wrap up a project. And the big stuff I'm lost right now on is a lot of my folders and subfolders got corrupted in my client base. So I've got old correspondence I can't find. But that's going to keep me pretty busy this week, and probably a good portion of this next week.
So David?
Yeah, I am the gypsy, and I refuse to let Google take away my forum name. That's it. I've decided. They made me use my real name a lot. What am I doing lately? I am currently recovering from the fact that Steve is working full time. Yeah. That's I just said I was here. You did ask what I'm doing right now. So right now I am currently trying to recover from what I just heard. So other than that, I am just out trolling SEO groups on Facebook pretty much and working in the trenches, But other than that, just out reacquainting myself with the SEO industry and then enjoying all the giggles that comes with it. And that's it, man. Yeah. Oh, and I'm sorry, and playing with Google Data Studio and Google Optimize. There you go. Those are my hobbies. Oh, and while I'm clicking away from tabs, also I'm currently reading a patent about name disambiguations.
Sounds interesting.
I bet it isn't.
You've always been like that. Always. I come in, I'm all excited about a patent, and I get nothing but Z's from Steve. I'll just wait till you or Bill writes about it. I don't want to hear you. I've been to how the links he used to drop all the time. It'd be YouTube would be like, no, I'm not doing it, Steve. But then 5 minutes later, curiosity gets to you and you click it. You just don't tell Steve that you clicked it. Because that just encourages him to keep doing it. So,
I'm
all about that work-life balance.
I'm working on writing up a patent on geofencing from Apple, because it makes sense that they compete with Google and with Snapchat and with others for things like geofences.
When you
And
bring up Snapchat, we were just in our own little Skype room wondering what the hell Snapchat was, but we're just too old for that, I guess.
You don't need to worry.
Yeah, see, my wife's just laughing at me now, pointing at me, going, "You're too old. You don't get it."
Actually, will get you divorced.
Oh, that'll get me divorced? Apparently, I don't need to know what Snapchat is. My wife has just informed me that that's a one-way trip to the lawyer's office.
I think if you're older than 15, you can't figure it out anyway. So
I think that's possible. I sat in a couple of presentations at PubCon on Snapchat, and I didn't quite get it. So
I was actually quite embarrassed. Like I haven't used it since, but on the very first days that it launched, I installed it and I couldn't use it. Right, I couldn't post. The first time around, I literally couldn't post. And I think there was something written about this on how like this being done on purpose to a degree, because like, you know, young guys could show to each other things like that versus, you know, people who are used to other way of like posting content. I don't know, but I was quite embarrassed that I couldn't post anything. I couldn't understand what was going on, right?
So
but probably a change, right?
Steve, so what is Google Stamp anyways?
It's Google coming in about 2 years after the fact and trying to create their own Snapchat because Snapchat refused to be bought by Google. And so now they're going to create, apparently, Google Stamp, which should be launching probably first quarter of next year, first half of next year. And then we figure about 32 months after that, they'll mothball it. So
we know Google's really good with social networks.
Yeah.
yes, they are.
They got a history and yeah.
They certainly have plenty of practice launching.
And actually, if they use the same,
You got to wonder about those meetings where somebody stands up and says, "I've got a great idea for another social group." How many people just throw things at them?
Oh no, but you know, maybe somebody at Google higher up typed into their own search engine, "If at first you don't succeed," and they got an answer.
Yeah.
but like,
The problem is, if you don't succeed the first time, that's okay to try again. If you don't succeed after like 16 tries, perhaps you should try something else.
like if they haven't fired yet the people who failed on the previous one, there's a good chance now that this is the good one, right? They've tried so many times that it shouldn't go wrong.
Yeah, Microsoft's been trying that too, and it's not working for them either.
They could take a good lesson
Orchid
from
still work at Google?
who?
Orchid? Do you remember?
I don't know.
Before Google Plus, Orchid?
Yeah.
It was big in India.
or not.
I don't know if it's around. They should take a lesson from folks like Wolfram.
Are you guys still active on Google Plus?
Define
come here.
active. Define active. At the moment, I am very active on it. Well, I guess I'm actually on YouTube now, technically. So I don't know.
Is it like so? Like I define active by I don't know, open it once a week and scroll in the feed.
Okay, then I'm going no. If you mean like a couple times a year,
There's a couple of technical groups that I participate in there, and that's it.
Yeah, but like so that's what I love. Like back in time, so I joined this Hangout and I like met Ammon, Bill, and through Google Plus, because I was, you know, I on Twitter I was getting to the point where there was too much spam of like people that I was following. So I was starting fresh from an account where you select only few people it was a good read because actually you could literally stay focused on few people. Plus there was the community side.
Well, even the groups, that were like compared to like a Facebook group, you can't really archive posts in a Facebook group by category. It's just a big stream and the way it goes. So I did like what they had going on there. The problem is most of the people that I would spend time with were over on Facebook. So, you know, it was just more of a fact that I got drawn back into Facebook for that reason. The groups I actually like better than how you could organize topically things and so forth. It just unfortunately didn't go where I needed to user-wise. They were all over on Facebook. But I do actually like how they do the groups over there, for sure.
Yeah, actually, group for owners of Chromebook Pixel, which is like a very unusual machine. And then also if you want to have some Linux distribution on that, it's even more unusual. So the chance of finding someone who did the same thing before is close to none. So it's good. It's very good for that type of thing, which somehow like is probably like an answer to some forum being dead, right? But then at the same time, I had to give up to a degree, even checking the feed, because most of the people that I was working with or everything, they were just sharing content on Twitter. So for the sake of time, I said, okay, now let's just stick with one. And,
like even Twitter, like, you know, I weeded my list down to like maybe 200 and something people. Still, it was just a fire hose. It was just stuff flying by, and it just wasn't easy enough to organize or participate in, and it just became this fire hose of information. So even Twitter, I haven't been doing much with. So.
I fired up Twitter for the first time in probably, I made one tweet since February of 2015, or was it April 2015? And I fired up Twitter over the weekend, and it's been running in another window over here. And I was kind of shocked at how many people I just went, I don't need this, I don't need that, and got rid of, because it was like they all by themselves were a constant flood of basically useless information and conversation. It's like, no, I have time for this. Anybody who does probably needs to go out and get a job.
The only thing that I find it useful for occasionally is customer support. If I'm trying to get help with something, that's one way to get it.
If someone doesn't put people on their call, basically companies that don't want you to phone them, a good way to get them on the phone is by tweeting, so they come on the phone, right? When they start saving on customer support, you know, as soon as it gets visible, they give you some love. Otherwise, you're forgotten in the.
That's one good way to get it. Google My Business support is actually by going through Twitter.
They've been pushing quite a lot of stuff in the My Business. We don't have like, but like like even in terms of like we have few My Business locations just for our offices, and they're emailing quite a bit about doing a bunch of things like getting feedback from people, like a bunch of. We're not really interested because we know a local business, so there's not much that we can do. And people review our offices. Thinking it's only few, like probably 10 review in total, 20. They review our office thinking that is our product, and which is to a degree is fair, but it would be like walking into Google building and saying, "Oh, I didn't like this," searching on Google, right? It's pretty much the same. Our company doesn't exist physically; is a online service, right? But
you cannot post a review for a brand Google My Business brand page, only a location page.
But we need, at the same time, I think that's where I think sometimes the lacking is that is very centered. So for instance, like people need to get direction to come to our office, not customers, but our partners, our people that we work with. We have in business meetings here, right? So at the same time, employee could review the office, and like it could almost function in some sort of like Glassdoor type of thing, right? But some companies do some of that stuff, but but they and also they force you to put business hours, right? And again, we are a 24-hour service, but at the same time, the office has got 9 to 6. I don't know, like and that's the bit where it gets a bit. I don't know. We haven't found a good solution. But.
I did the same when I just finally put up my own Google my business page for my business, and I've been
Oh,
in business
great!
for
I'm showing
20
up
years.
at your door. I'm showing up at your door. That's it. I want to go check the office
Yeah, well,
hours.
if you show up outside of the business hours that I posted, you're in trouble. Plus, out here, they'll recognize the accident and know you're a foreigner. So,
Wait till
but
they
then
ask
again,
you
anybody
to-
outside of this part of Tennessee.
Did you set it up as a service area business?
No, I set it up as just a straight up business and put some hours and stuff because, well, first of all, nobody's going to come out here. It takes us half an hour just to get to McDonald's.
Well, see, that's why you put your
so
office hours. You put your office hours at 2 a.m. to 2:05 a.m.
Something strange.
Google will call you.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah,
if
they
somebody
will.
complains.
Yeah,
If somebody
but I've been
flags you,
running some.
this would be a
some,
competitor
what-
probably flagging you.
Yeah, but I'm not worried about that because I'm here, and if I'm not, it goes to voicemail. But we're also starting to doing some of my own AdWords just for the business to drum up a little extra business and to start and stop when I'm in the office so I can catch phone calls and stuff like that. But it's been kind of weird. I've been doing this for clients for so long. I forgot what it was like to actually set it up for myself. And it's like, oh, this is a pain in the ass to keep track of. And quit telling me I need to post. I don't want to post on my Google My Business page. I don't care.
I've done a few posts.
There's actually a survey that a few people did. I think it was Joy Hawkins and Ben Fisher with the post feature, and their results were that it made a mild difference in terms of some good thing, but I don't remember if it was ranking or if it was some other benefit. I forget what the.
I would imagine possibly CTA or something like like the click-through rates or CTR or something like that. I would imagine.
Yeah, but I posted this once before, or talked about this before, where I did a local search for web design in our area, and I come back with landscape designers and hairdressers, and you don't get to web design people until you get to page 2. It's just so screwed up out here. I don't understand how Google Local works for small communities. It doesn't.
Well,
yeah, I'm in a town of 2,500, and even of that 2,500, it's probably a lot like where you are. From what I've talked to you, Steve, half of that is people out in the dirt roads and stuff. You know what I mean? Like that's what's considered part of the town. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
In towns, maybe 1,000 people, 1,500 are all on the farms and stuff around here. Yeah, it's a totally different animal than living in a metropolis or whatever.
Yeah, I remember searching for pizza when I was in Virginia, and the closest pizzeria was about 20 miles away.
Yeah.
And it didn't show, Google didn't show them.
No. Well, the other problem is out here, there are so many businesses who have absolutely zero web footprint. They simply don't have a website. And if that's how you find people, you'll never find them. And nobody publishes phone books anymore. Flipping through a phone book, you have to know somebody who knows somebody. I mean, I spend half my time down at the auto parts store or the lumberyard asking them, who would you recommend
or the
for
little
this?
classified ads in your local paper that's like 10 pages.
We don't even have one of those.
Oh, see, we got one of those.
We're too small for that.
Yeah, I needed work on my car. I tried to Google auto repair and didn't get any results in the town I was in Virginia. There were repair places. I started asking neighbors, and that worked.
Yeah.
Well, for local
it's the same thing with
servers,
motorcycle.
Yelp is another player.
Communities like mine, you literally go to your neighbor and say, do you know anyone who fixes this or that, or do you know a roofer, do you know a guy? It's all pretty much word of mouth in a community this size where I am. I mean, it's literally, even if there was little ads here and there, it wouldn't matter. You'd still go and talk to your neighbor.
I was looking for somebody to rebuild a carburetor on a motorcycle without hauling it for an hour. And the guy down at the auto parts store is like, oh yeah, you go down to Jimmy's place, you go down to the church, you turn left.
I was going to say, you know what the old church is? It's always one of the
It's like,
applications. How is that?
And then he's like, it's like the third or fourth or fifth house down. Just go up and knock. They'll know who it is. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, you'll see a bunch of wrecks over on the right hand side and stuff. That's his place.
And it works.
You know, there's a site called Nextdoor that is trying to become that sort of replacement for the old party line. And in some places it seems to work. I mean, we have a pretty active one here in my area.
I enjoy it. It's in my town too.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're
I signed up. I signed up for it. I was the only one on it.
It has lots of stories of coyotes eating people's cats and small dogs.
There is a way in Google Maps to add a feature or another as a business that isn't already there, and so if I think Google hopes that if you know of a motorcycle carburetor repair shop that isn't already listed on Google Maps, that you'll volunteer that information and they'll be able to include it.
Yeah, I do the whole local guide thing because there's so few people out here. I'm constantly adding stuff to it, and then later, 2 weeks later, and Google will have it listed, but they will have moved the marker on their own. It's like, no, that's not where it is. Grab it and pull it back, and it's please stop moving this unless you actually come out here and verify this. Stop moving my markers.
Yeah, I think there's some real value though in doing the local guide thing because it helps to give you the authority to not have all of your edits questioned when you're trying to help your clients by complaining about unfair competition. Well, I mean, hey, everybody here knows about that, right? So
I'm doing a local guide thing too. I get notifications asking me if I'm at certain places.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes those places are next door. So I'm not at the place.
Yeah.
And I'm tempted to write those reviews for the place next door anyway.
Oh, they're great.
I think they recently they became, at least when I'm in my local, so like for instance, I go to shop in 2 supermarkets pretty much in my area, and every time I go there, they ask me something, and like, you know, I come here every weekend, right? How much can I tell you up to a certain point? You know, at some point I could write a blog post around this supermarket, but at some point, and like the business hour doesn't change. Like after I answer whether there is a like disabled toilet and a few other things, we stay the same for the next. But they're quite aggressive in asking me again and again and again.
Right. They ask you if there's a parking lot, if the store is visible from the street as you're driving past.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same questions.
Yep. Is this a good place for kids? Is it LGBT friendly?
Yeah, sometimes it's difficult to say, right? You go for the first time in a place, like I have no idea if it's good. I mean, maybe you can guess it, right? But like not for everything, right?
Yeah.
Is it appropriate for college age students? I don't know.
Don't know any college age student. Yeah. No, I'm there with you, and I get tired of seeing we saw you at Walmart. No, I was sitting in the parking lot at Walmart when my wife went in, and no, I'm never ever going to review a Walmart. Why is this even showing?
Yeah, funny.
Yeah, I took a photograph of the cashiers at my grocery store this morning, just so I could post them to Google Maps.
Yeah.
One thing I've done a few times, if I go in a restaurant and review it, I'll take a picture of the receipt and include that in the review. I don't know, not to prove that I was there, but just to sort of give people an idea of the price range.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Working for Google for free, giving them content.
That's what we're all doing.
I'm not sure, like, this is the kind of stuff that gets someone that does pretty much our job on board, because you're ready to find out what's behind this thing. I'm not sure whether my friend would be willing to, like, I don't know, like there must be some kind of benefit. For me, it's just a big curiosity on how this thing is going to work and how they're going to play with this. But like, if someone doesn't care, would you spend time to, unless it's someone who really believes that reviews are important, I don't know, right? Or unless someone complains, right? But otherwise, would they spend time to check in every place in my area? And then like, it can become a full-time job, right? If you get better and better and better. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I knew people who were local guides who were receiving emails from Google congratulating them on 4 million views of their photos, or 5 million views.
Wow.
Because they were taking pictures of places and submitting them, and those pictures were being chosen as the photo to show people when they were using Google Maps to navigate to a place. So they were shown hundreds of thousands of times sometimes.
Yeah, it happened to me the same. I took by accident a picture in an Estonian restaurant of a steak, and that steak got something like 40,000 views. It's nothing too special, right? But then, like, but I'm not sure what happened to that. I tried to inject a brand inside the picture that I was taking, so kind of watermark, right? Whether you could, but I'm pretty sure they could catch it. I'm not sure.
I think that they can remove watermarks from.
Yeah. Because that would be quite a strong. You could go to all your competitor shops and do watermark pictures on disgusting stuff with your brand and and with some like call to action, and I don't know. You could become quite aggressive with this kind of stuff. If you really.
I like it. I'm gonna have to try that. Actually, one of the things I run into with clients is some of them have had persistent, nonsensical photos added by third parties that aren't even like of competitive value to their competitors. There's this one guy named Joseph who keeps uploading pictures of himself on a charter fishing boat, doing thumbs up and stuff like that. For a client that I have that nice. Sells handicap mobility equipment, and so when I talk to them on the phone on a regular basis, the client, we go do a Joseph photo check. That's part of it. Oh, there's Joseph again.
But at the same time, it can have been. I think it's the same restaurant that I was talking about earlier. Maybe I can send you a link now. Someone uploaded by mistake a picture of like few mannequins. It's those things where they basically that in shops they dress. When they put dresses in shops, and the picture shows up. I'm not sure if I can send you a link in the chat here. Try to click this. So basically, you're scrolling pictures of steaks, and suddenly you bumped into this weird. That can be quite dangerous. Like I'm not sure whether someone would be turned off by this kind of picture, but like people upload.
Good.
Yeah, it's like putting that restaurant knowing that it feels like Dexter, right? Is someone wrapping you and then like cooking you on the grill.
That could be a positive thing. It made me want to go to the restaurant and find that. I'd be like, okay, what exactly? There's no real background story on that. I might go there just to check that out. Like, okay, where's people be perusing down the back halls in that place?
The person that posted that is from I guess from the local area. I didn't realize that restaurant was not in Argentina, but it looks like it's local there.
It's called Argentina. It's actually history. Does not stalk this guy too much, but this history on uploaded is a picture of a toilet in a public place, I believe, and then this mannequin thing, and then like some flowers. People can get pretty creative on some stuff.
I like the food on that restaurant page, though.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like the steak there is so good, right? That's a must look like dinner when we are in Tallinn, in Estonia for work. I have to go there once at least over a week.
Asado Argentino. It looks really good.
Yeah, you're just making Tim hungry now. He's gonna have to go.
It's lunchtime here.
Oh, it's
I'm
lunchtime,
not feeding
right?
my face.
Okay, well, it's 8:30 here in UK.
It's lunchtime here in California.
Boys, any time is a time for steak. That's why there's steak and eggs. That's why, there's steak is any time.
That's why I raise cows.
Do you raise your own
I
for beef? I mean, for meat?
Yep.
Good for you.
Yep. I have enough beef in the freezer. I can go quite some time without ever having to look for anybody else's steak. I refuse to eat steak out.
My dad grew up on a farm in Nebraska, and he was going to be a farmer, and then he went through the process of raising a 4-H steer and getting attached to it, and then selling it to be, butchered, as they do at the end. And he decided he was going to be a doctor instead. He couldn't handle the loss for that cow.
Oh no! Our daughter was upset when she missed the pig getting slaughtered, and then she was upset that we didn't let her slaughter her own goats. And she's very, and our neighbor up the road. Wow, their kids are big time farm kids, and no problem at all with any of that stuff because they understand that's the process. That's where it comes from.
Maybe you have to be a carnivore to be an SEO. I don't know. Do we talk about SEO stuff here? I forget.
Sometimes.
Nah.
There's nothing to talk about anymore, right? Like, who is knows? We just do stuff, build a couple of things, and that's it.
Well, we can always just talk about Rankbrain for a while. It's very popular. Page segmentation's back. Caffeine the other day. It's getting that bad that people are starting to write again about stuff from 7 years ago. I think we're in trouble.
Every time now that I see a Rankbrain article somewhere, I think of you, Dave.
Well, I'm glad I had this effect. Appreciate that.
So,
that's
Dave,
just before the blood starts coming out of my ears,
Dave, how does caffeine affect Rankbrain again?
Oh, well, it's a very complicated process. And if you just give me a couple hours here, I'd be more than happy to explain that out to you. But you'll have to wait for my upcoming webinar series and set of blog posts, all for the low, low price of I haven't established yet. But yeah, look for it coming soon. Very important, very important. I still remember caffeine. Hey, Terry, everyone losing their shit because somehow it was changing rankings, and meanwhile it's an infrastructure update. And really, even the page segmentation one that was on Search Engine Journal over the last couple of days, that they were, apparently for some reason, Search Engine Journal's revisiting old stories. I guess that's because there's not enough new ones, but so yeah, it was caffeine the week before. This week it was friggin' pages. Look how I said friggin', huh? Not bad. I've been practicing in front of a mirror. Anyways, so yeah, this week it was page segmentation, and it was funny because they started talking about it because Google said something about it in like 2012, but pretty sure people like Bill and whatnot was, we were talking about that kind of stuff in 2006, maybe 7, I don't know, at least.
So Microsoft came up with page segmentation in 2003.
There you go. So yeah.
So,
and even this revamp 2017 article was revamping something that somebody had said in 2012 or something. So
yeah.
I don't know if I'm reading. It's like there's not a lot new. Like even the link building guys, it's funny. Like I'll sit here and while I'm working, I'll put the TV on YouTube. For those people that have smart TVs, so you can pull up YouTube on your TV and whatever. And just for fun, I'll put up like advanced SEO strategies 2017 or link building 2017, and I'll just let YouTube run away with it while I'm working and listen to these guys, right, while I'm doing stuff, and laugh and giggle and it was hilarious. I think it was a couple of days ago I let this link building one go, and I swear to God, other than like the odd guy with some PBNs and guest posting crap, most of them were just like, there is no link building, it's all dead. And it's like, oh God, Jesus. So yeah, it's I think it's funny in one sense that, back in 2010, 2011 or something like that, there was a lot of us that, like Bill or Carrie and Steven, we used to be fairly, I guess what you call white hat those days. I don't think, is there a white hat and black hat unless you're totally off the deep end these days? But, we used to talk
Apparently
about
there is.
Yeah.
I saw somebody the other day complaining they were getting penalized or something for their link building practices. And on one hand, he's going, our links are 100% natural. When we do outreach, it's like, okay, well, you've already crossed the line. You are no longer doing natural links because you're doing outreach.
Yeah, but that was always the thing. We used to sit and go, there's manufactured links, which means anything, natural or organic or whatever the hell you want to call them, literally means that. They just, you're doing something, you're surfacing content out on the internet and people are linking to it. How outreach would ever be organic, but the terms get muddied these days. And again, so much has changed. So much has gone away. Like so much that, we could even go back to cloaking. We could go back to iframes. We could go back to Widgetgate back in.
Somebody asked about that yesterday.
Or 7 or what's that?
Somebody, one of the groups wanted to link to his friend's website, but only have Google see it, not the people that came to his website, wanted to know how to do that. And it's like, God. And he's got clients. That's the part that kills me, is he's a webmaster / SEO with clients who doesn't understand the most basic of practices. And it's like, wow, you're just, yeah, it's like the forums all over again. It's like there's a new wave of.
There really is. Like, I was joking before we started about some of the Facebook groups I'm trolling and stuff. And I mean literally trolling lately because it's hard to find a serious conversation. So it ultimately becomes trolling for me. But yeah, it's amazing. Like the rhetoric has taken over almost, like, Craig, content this, or
okay, David,
or PBNs, or there's such a lack of creativity out there.
David, do you do SEO for the fame or for the money?
Well, obviously for the money, as you can tell by my Trump Tower digs here, the fame is obvious. Like the girls are knocking down my door at the moment.
I want to know what animal was killed to create that chair.
A few, man. This thing's like a multi-animal chair. How do I think that's
Was it a novel?
It's my pub chair, bro. I loved it. My wife's gonna have to get it upholstered. I'm just gonna wake up and it'll be in the garbage someday. It'll be gone.
How many Nagas died for that?
But that's it. I spent 10 years getting out of my house into this chair in my pub, so it was coming over.
This is why the beloved Naga is now extinct.
There you go.
But there's just a lot of rhetoric out there. I mean, there isn't a lot of. Again, there's, what you and I might consider technical SEO and this, that. I know it's not the most link baity or attractive type of conversations to have as far as site infrastructure, about, internal linking ratios, about, other important usability factors that come hand in hand. But it's just become rhetoric, a lot of it. I just keep reading and hearing the same crap over and over, and and I don't think a lot of that's changed, but I think it's worse than ever, to be at least again. I've been away for like 6-8 months as far as like really reading and watching videos, and I haven't really been out there in the community, SEO community, but I just seeing still just far more rhetoric than we oddly enough.
Fortunately, I think the threshold for success in SEO has gone up high enough now that the people who don't get it aren't going to be around for long because they simply won't be getting results.
Like even stuff like silos. Remember silos back in the day? I don't know if it was Bruce Clare, who the hell ever it was, but even that kind of stuff was some sort of thought pattern about site architecture that everyone sit around and debate about, and, internal link architecture. At least we would literally sit around and argue about architecture of a site, which works better and this and that, and siloing keywords. Even that stuff's gone. Like, regardless of what you thought of that kind of stuff, those conversations don't even exist anymore. It's all just rhetoric about content and this and that. It's like there aren't even I'm not finding. There's not even a lot of those kind of discussions going on.
Well, it's like
I don't remember the last time.
Page rank sculpting, that you had to know what your damn structure was supposed to be to make that work.
Yesterday, during the meetup, so I was one of the guys talking, so what I presented was like how how we basically work with engineers building our website. That was pretty much what I presented, right? How we pick technology in building products, what technical solution we use to scale hreflang and things like that, or otherwise how do we change architecture, internal link structure, look at crawling, those kind of things.
Or even taxonomies as you're building all that out, right?
I
was literally doing that last week, and because we were reorganizing a blog, and so I was building taxonomies and architecture and this and that. And but you go out for these people and these groups or whatever, asking for learning SEO. There's none of that conversation.
During the meetup, there was, I think, there was quite good feedback in general on like what I presented. At the same time, there was one slide in the actual deck that was saying our SEO team doesn't spend time like barely writing content. Our SEO specialists don't write content, like content people will write content. We barely spend time on but we don't build links at all, because when we started, we had like a very strong domain with like 2 years of advertising and PR, and we have 0 pages. There was one home page, right? So what we did, I'm just explaining, now we build the website and we structure, like now we have like almost 2.5 million URLs, how we structure an architecture and those kind of things. So that was my talk. There was one slide saying, we didn't waste time on link building because we had to build a site, and we had a strong domain with 0 pages, and we just built a site. Otherwise, you can have as many links as you like, but if you have 1 page, it's not going to fly, right? And then there were some people spinning this off on Twitter, picking a fight on like, oh, there's someone saying that link building is not important. And it's like, oh, geez, like, my talk was purely about product and tech, right? There was nothing in there around like, not barely how we create content. It was not even in there, right? It was like almost something that a developer could digest more than someone working in like. But then like, you still had people like that. I don't know, maybe because I guess also people, that's what they say, right? When they feel that if this is the only thing that they can do, and suddenly someone ditched that thing, I don't know. I think they may be taking this personally, but honestly, I don't care. It's just, it's just the wrong conversation.
But you also consider the source. 10 years ago, we didn't have content strategy people and inbound marketers. We didn't have social media marketers. We didn't, 10, 15 years ago, there was just SEOs talking about various ways to accomplish these goals. Now everybody has a vested interest. Now the content marketer's got a vested interest in saying SEO is crap. The social media marketer's got a vested interest in saying SEO is crap, and vice versa. Everyone's competing for different marketing dollars. So I think because these different roles have emerged, it changes the conversation, and people do get a little more sensitive or vested in what they do and what you're saying.
Now there's enough work that you can do specialized stuff. So before, everything that you mentioned there, I did it before, only it was just a task I did in SEO. Now there's actually specialists, so it's got a different name. Oh, it's all the same stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's difficult to raise, even like not just talk about it and find people who want to talk about some of this stuff, but also people who treat this stuff seriously. People are getting attracted by these fancy jobs where they they call themselves senior SEO manager, blah blah blah, and you ask them what CMS their platform, their website use, and they don't know, right? And then it's difficult to have a conversation. It's not that these people, they're doing something wrong. It's just is a different people with different skills and different interests, right? You cannot convince one of these guys to work with a developer on pre-rendering JavaScript, right? Because it's not going to fly, right? It doesn't know what CMS the website is using. There's little chance that it will enjoy that type of work, right? But that's why we doing some of these meetups or talks just to hopefully raise awareness around for us it's for hiring them, but also in general it wouldn't hurt if in the community we start talking about that stuff a little bit more, right?
Yeah, there's a social media world that has a conference in San Diego once a year, and I haven't heard most of these people who participate in it because they've specialized in social media. and they may have, some of them may have done SEO work in the past, but now they're social media experts, and
generally failed SEOs.
well,
That's how they stay in business. They change their social.
Some of them are social and have always been social and are good at it. But there are a number of former SEOs in there who gave up doing SEO and now focus on social. And it's like,
Well, because it's a lot more fun to just sit around on Facebook all day. Come on.
Also,
We lost a lot of people back in the day, you know. Well, why are you telling me I can get
for non-work. Like, how do you get fired for not getting the job done? There's no metrics to really measure.
Well, the only thing is, for instance, now with Facebook, considering there is all paid, the metrics, you can have metrics, right? But when it comes to non-paid, so our team that runs Facebook, I think they're pretty specialized in what they do, and the platform is now serious. It's not like the early days where compared to AdWords was ridiculous, right? But right now the segmentation is our core. They can use API to do segmentation. They can use API to do retargeting against audiences. Like they have different level of exposure of creative. It's like, I think is like, but obviously when you then go into the, when it starts being not paid, because obviously Facebook has got zero incentive in giving you any tracking or any way to measure your stuff. You have people that come to interviews and say, I used a coupon code, right? Like, sorry, but right, we're not gonna invest £1 million with coupon codes, right? Hoping that people will stick the coupon back on the site, right? So like, unfortunately, like the platform makes it quite difficult to do stuff, right?
Well, and they change all the time, just like Google does. Only in even weirder ways sometimes.
Well, think about it. Facebook, when I first joined, everybody saw everything I posted. Now, if they want to see, I have to pay. That's it. To call it a social network is like not true. It's a paid platform.
Well, no, but again, it's almost like looking at Google Organic and Google AdWords. One's paid, one's not. There are elements of the Facebook algorithm that if people are interacting with your page or whatever, that you are going to show up in their timeline more. The problem is people have 400 and 500 people, so the algorithms at Facebook tend to show you more of what you interact with. Like, you literally, Terry, go click around a group this afternoon, or go comment on like Doc's stuff 5 or 10 times. Tomorrow morning, his crap or that page or that group will start showing up in your timeline. So that is kind of the difference with Facebook paid and Facebook organic, in the sense that those of people running your organic page or group or whatever that you're doing on behalf of a client or the business, you need to engage people. You can't just, be a narcissistic shithead. And sorry, that's my first one of the day, Bill, and I'll keep it there. You can't just go out there and be narcissistic and just post your latest product news or your latest blog post. You need to actually interact with them and engage them and get them talking and liking and sharing and commenting on the other things you're posting. You start to do that, the algorithm will surface stuff on their homepage timeline. So there's kind of the difference between Facebook organic and Facebook paid. Like, I played with some of that stuff. So.
But at the same time, with concentration of advertisers there, your timeline gets busier than what it used to be, right? And then obviously you can engage, I can engage you, but like not other 50 people can engage you, right? So like there's less chance than to be in there compared to, I don't know, we don't you need to pay.
If you have 1,400 people following you, right, that have said like your page, want to see your stuff, and they show it to 40 of them.
You're doing pretty good then.
I think we have some.
The thing is, 1,400 people have said, put it in my timeline.
Yeah, I think we have.
They're basically they had people that went out and paid to get more people. And now they have to pay to post to those people. Yeah, it's been a scheme from day one.
We have something, I think, 300,000 followers, I think, but despite having 300,000 followers, like we're not really pushing the organic side a lot. But just to give you an example, there's probably been a few months where we posted once, right? and like once, right? Like that's beyond.
Let me give you an example of something that I play with on the organic side of like Facebook and stuff. For example, when I say narcissistic, what I mean is so many clients tend to just post their own blog posts, their own latest product, their own this and that. Now, what I do is I go off to Google Analytics, I look at affinity categories and things of that nature, and I find what my demographic's into. Then I set up different tracking things for news and whatever, and post stuff that has nothing to do with the client. Let's take something Doc and I work on, which is they have safes, right? So it's a high-end clientele. They're into travel, they're into high-end cars, homes, and crap like that. So, or security systems. Posting stories of interest from wherever, you know, New York Times and wherever the hell you find it, gets them interactive, gets them clicking, gets them, and you will see that seen by number grow over time, right? Because as more people like it, as more people share it, as more people comment on it, Google does actually, Facebook does start to show it to more people. What happens is people get so narcissistic with their pages, so all they're doing is showing their own blog posts and their own products. Then of course that's that's not going to surface as well. You need to actually embrace the demographic and share stuff. Just pretend you're like a human being and share stuff that's of interest to that demographic. That's not even yours. But it'll start to surface. It will surface your own stuff over time.
No, I totally agree with you. The challenge is that when you invest heavily, so we do exactly that, right? So we have different level of segmentation. We expose you to some lifestyle type of content that will engage you based on your audience, and then we retarget you, helping to understand the problem that we solve as a company, and then we engage you again, and then at some point we don't sell on like view number one, like never, right? But the point being is because we run so much, we run quite a lot of like paid spend. The organic one is basically like if whether we post organically or not doesn't make any difference, like pretty much at this point in time. Maybe we're not getting it right, things like that, but pretty much right now we can survive. We do have a lot of content. It's just like we feel the best way to distribute this, it looks like, is by paying, honestly. But I'm not sure. Obviously we can afford that, right? But at the same time, it's probably not the best. There's a lot of organic stuff on Instagram happening though. There's quite a lot of people spinning profiles with like a couple of pictures and 20,000-30,000 followers. It's like
even depending on what your client is, even the Pinterest stuff still seems to be keeping around there, Steve. Like I know Steve, you spent quite a bunch of quality time on Pinterest over the years, and I mean I find the traffic's not the greatest as usual, but it's fairly organic on its own. Like you can still get reasonable traffic, and and depending what your conversion points are, like if it's an informational site and things like that, I still see that happening fairly organically with clients that don't even focus on it.
I've got one client who's actually generating far more sales off of Pinterest than they do off of Facebook.
But like, does Pinterest in US has got quite a bit of acquisition from search versus in UK? There's not much. I don't see it that often in search results. I need to go pretty long tail on stuff to find Pinterest.
No, not even search results. I mean, like I think Steve and I are both talking about actual people coming from Pinterest. Now, if you want to look at an attribution model, or if that's direct conversion, whatever, you actually see it. And on a fairly, when I say organic, I mean coming up the site. You don't have you don't have social media people over there trying to drum up followers on Pinterest and stuff. It can organically happen through Pinterest all on its own with just a little push, not nearly as much push as you need on Facebook or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't been using Pinterest in ages, honestly. I'm not the picture type of guy. So like I struggle to test Instagram. And
I'm on Pinterest every single night. And for markets, because I'm real heavy into woodworking these days and boats, and that's just so much of that stuff going on Pinterest, completely under the radar. Talking to some of the woodworkers, you have 2 funnels they have. Well, 3 funnels actually. They've got Pinterest, YouTube, and Craigslist.
Well, you used to work a lot in the jewelry niche, and I'm sure jewelry niche is great for Pinterest as well, no?
Not as good as it used to be, but yeah, I mean, it's very hands-on, artsy, craftsy kind of stuff. Does so well over there. It's not worth wasting the time to try to be anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not sure they ever is one of those platforms. Is the paid stuff on Pinterest working or not really? Like I don't
know. Never had to use it.
Okay. That's probably a bad.
We've always done well enough without it that it didn't
probably
seem like a justified.
My ugly chair.
Is a downside of the product. If your product is too good organically, there's no one starting to run ads on it, and then you don't make money. They have to make it a bit worse, man.
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of ads on Pinterest.
Yeah.
And it's even without them being flagged as sponsored, they're so obviously out of place with everything else that's on Pinterest, especially on mobile. Mm-hmm. It's jarring when you roll across an ad because it's like, whoa, this is definitely not what everything else on the screen is. And the ads, they're obviously ads without even being labeled. And it makes them super easy to scroll past.
Yeah, okay. Actually, I've been I'm recently testing Instagram for I was bored of so I don't write a sentence of content, so I was bored of trying to build a website. I have a niche website that I'm maintaining. So I was testing Instagram, and what I found is that even the ads there, some of them are super sleek, literally, in the way the experience is with scrolling from one to another. When they show, I don't know, the stories type of feature, it's quite smooth actually. Mm-hmm. It's well done from that point of view. It's probably even working with advertisers because working on creative in that way is not like an headline 1, headline 2 with a sentence, right? You need good photography. You need good creative is slightly harder than the rest, right? Otherwise, you would end up looking like taboola and those kind of things. That you start reading a decent article, and then you scroll this thing and you see a dead body and some cigarettes and some pharmaceutical stuff that makes you feel like, I don't know. This is the kind of advertiser that I don't really understand. Like the day you bring, maybe that stuff brings money to them, but the experience for user is disgusting, right? It's just.
Okay, so we're getting.
So Bill, has the search community honored you yet?
No, they haven't.
Wow, did you even get outreach?
Are you referring to the Jill Whalen thing?
No, it's a SEO roundtable thing.
Well, yeah,
and today is Ross Dunn, I believe. Yes, Ross Dunn, the search community. It was so funny. I just saw that on Facebook, and I just realized, Bill. Yeah. Barry sent me an email like a month and a half ago. Asked me to send him a bio. He said I was nominated for this whatever thing, and send him a bio picture and blah 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 all this stuff. And I totally forgot.
Good.
So see, apparently the search community honors you. We'll wait for Terry. He's got to be honored here first.
Okay.
We'll
honor
Terry. Yeah, I totally forgot. The search community is going to be apparently, or I'm supposed to be being honored by them. I'm not sure what that is, but
boom.
Wait, so you haven't even heard from Barry on this? Barry hasn't even contacted
Barry Schwartz sent me an email asking for bio.
Okay, so that's what this is. Yes, it's apparently a series called "The Search Community Honors You." So yes, there you go. So yeah, I just realized I forgot about that. It was like a month and change ago.
And I saw one of those posts where Jill Whalen was honored.
Yes, kind of earlier this week.
Yeah.
Or last week. Yeah, I remember the one. Okay, I'm curious.
that looked like
How
she
does the
passed
search
away.
community? I just got to ask this before we go, Bill. How is it the search community is honoring me if I got a post essentially myself? I'm kind of confused. Well, I got Barry Schwartz going, okay, send me a bio, send me this, send me that.
Well,
Okay, so let me
that's
get
because
this. Are you
when they
just
did a search for David Harry, they got the department store. Couldn't find you.
Oh, wow. So anyways, there you go. So yes, apparently you got to remember to get honored there, by the way, Bill. So do I. I'll mark that down.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not sure when it's going to happen.
Yes, honoring myself essentially is what I'll be doing, but yes.
Yeah, didn't your parents tell you not to do that when you were like 13?
Well, you know, they just knocked on the bathroom door and said, "What are you doing in there?" But I get where you're going. So you know now when Bill ends this show in a couple minutes and says, "So what are your plans, David?" I'm going to be saying, "Well, I'm about to be honored by the search committee."
Okay, well, that sounds like a good place to start. We're closing down now. David, what are you going to be doing for the next week or so?
Well,
Be honored.
I'm pretty excited about that, and I'm going to fluff up my bio as best as possible. That Barry will actually publish it, and I guess nothing much else. Trolling Facebook groups, and Friday, I guess a lot of the same group in here, including yourself and Steve and Terry and everyone. I guess we'll be doing another hangout for our first one in about a year with the old dojo crew on Friday, 1 o'clock, and that's about it. And there you go.
It sounds like a good plan. Doc, what are you going to be up to for next week or so? Doc, are you still here?
Apparently not.
I guess
He
not.
must be on a whiskey run.
Fabrizio.
Yeah, I get to work as much as I can, and then Friday I'm off to an event from SM Rush in Austria. I hope it's gonna be, and then I'm in Estonia next week for work. So bit of traveling. Yeah,
You get to go to
Nice.
that Argentinian restaurant.
I hope I can go. Actually, I'm not sure we're staying in Tallinn. We might have an off-site meeting with some SEO guys, but I hope I can go to the Argentina. And I would suggest them to remove the picture of the dead bodies wrapped in clean in the film. But yeah.
Right, it's hard to tell those are mannequins.
Yeah, exactly.
Steve, what are you up to for next week?
Well, right after the show, I'm going to go out and work on the boat for a couple hours before it gets dark, and that's my new winter project is getting the new boat up and ready for spring, and actually making plans to go to my first conference almost 15 years in April. I know.
Oh, you start the show off that way. Now you're killing me here.
I know it's terrifying, but conferences in Orlando, which puts me about 2 hours from my daughter's house, so there's ulterior motives there. And I got a client who is willing to pay for it, so that's even better.
Nice.
So, yeah, I think that's going to be it'll be entertaining for sure. I can't wait to go see, and it's actually Amazon conference. So it's more marketing specifically targeted at Amazon, and I'm picking up more and more clients in that area. And even though we're doing really well with the paid ads and stuff for Amazon, it'd be nice to learn a little more and see what else is going on in an area that I'm not as fluent in as some of the others.
Are you guys running much ads on Amazon?
Oh yeah.
You got his attention now, man.
That's
See, he's a good marketer.
yeah.
I like him because he starts thinking money always right away. He's like, wait a minute, that actually makes money. Hey, Steve, what are you doing?
I do some Amazon affiliate stuff, but I'm interested about the platform because they have quite a lot of potential. It's just depending how they play with it. I guess it's not super. Now you bid against an easy number, right?
Yeah. Well, and what's nice though is with the clients I'm working with are all manufacturers. They make the product that they sell. So that really limits the competition to basically other manufacturers and resellers. And since, you know, whether they sell it or their reseller sells it, they don't care because they make money either way.
Yeah.
So a big thing though has been making sure we've got the footprint covered. We're gonna do pretty good this year. We took them from, I think last year we did about 100K on Amazon. This year we're on target to do about 280. So we've done pretty good over the last year with them.
That's nice.
Tim, are you here still?
I think we lost both of them.
Maybe they both went to get sweaters.
Maybe. I am not finding it that cold in Southern California
Yeah,
today.
but you're from the northern climes, my friend. You know, these guys are far more acclimated, I think, than you. So we'll give you 5 years, and you'll be wearing a sweater and some, you know, fingerless gloves.
What are you up to, Bill? You're the last one.
I've got some site audits to start working on, start digging into heavily. Some good-sized sites. So ought to keep me busy.
That's
Had
cool.
trouble.
Excellent.
Auditors are always fun.
Used to be my favorite.
Because you don't have to do any work after you're done with them.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
it. Yeah, that's how I turn consultant, Steve. Yeah, here's your report. Have a nice day.
Yep.
No, the delivery of the report's one of the most important parts.
It is.
I have
the part
two
after where you don't
worlds.
actually have to fix it.
I have two worlds now. I have the consulting reporting stuff where I get to hand it off, and you know, the old beef Alan and I used to have was you know 5% implementation, 100% of the blame, and that, you know, that's the world on that side. The other side is our clients, like I have through Tanya, where she's doing the development side of things, so I don't even have to do reports. We just get up in the morning and start knocking stuff off a list, you know. I did, and that's my favorite world these days, Steve. We got a couple like this, clients like that now, and I'm doing the CRO, I'm doing the Google Optimize. I got everything going on, and I don't really care. It's just you know, the client just sits back and takes her money, and we just get up in the morning and knock stuff off, and you know, between the two of us.
Yep.
All right.
Very
Well,
cool.
I'm going to close it down. Thank you, everybody. Take care now.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one.